Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be interviewing Sejal Gupta. She's incoming Google STEP Intern and she's currently studying computer science at IIT Goa. STEP Internship is a great program by Google for first and second year students, but there's a lot of confusion as to how to apply, what do they look for in an intern, and how does the hiring process actually go. To know all of that, please watch the video till the end. I will put timestamps in the description so you can navigate to any part of the interview. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. There's a lot of good content. Drop a like, comment below any questions you have, and enjoy the video. All right, Sejal. So tell a little bit about yourself. Just give a little introduction.
Yeah, so I am a second year undergraduate at Indian Institute of Technology, Goa, pursuing computer science and engineering. I'm also a part of Women Techmakers Engineering Fellows scholarship by Google, for which I was selected among the top 126 applicants across India.
Wow.
When it comes to like the technical field, my major interests are competitive coding and a bit of machine learning and deep learning. Apart from that, my hobbies are singing and dancing.
Mhm.
I'm also the
That's
club
cool.
head of a dance society in the college.
Wow, yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing. So how's life at IIT Goa? I mean, what does your day look like, and how does it feel to be an IITian?
Being in IIT, and it had been my dream since like 10th grade, and I worked really hard for it, and I was uh, really thrilled when I got into an IIT. So, since it's a relatively new IIT, there are both pros and cons to it. So, one of the disadvantages is that we don't have many people in our campus. Like in one batch, we have around 150 students.
Mhm.
So it's kind of difficult to find that exposure and the peer learning environment within the college. Plus, we as students are trying really hard to give that kind of an environment to our juniors and our batchmates. And it's not that it cannot be developed. We can do that for ourselves. So that brings us to the pros. Like, since there are not many people, there are a lot of opportunities. So
Right.
you can jump into one hobby to another hobby, and then you can like explore everything to find your interests. So there's not much competition. So it kind of gives you a lot of space to explore things on your own.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. That makes
I
sense.
really miss college as well because I've been at home for like 1 year now. So
Yeah. I mean,
it's a wholesome experience overall, being in the
yeah.
hostel,
I
making
hope
friends.
things like get back to normal and how they were supposed to be, because for sure, because of this COVID-19 situation, the whole experience has changed for you guys versus when I joined college in my second year. So yeah, I can understand what you're saying. Next question: how did you know which field in tech you would like to pursue? So there's like so many different fields and it's overwhelming for a student to decide, like, what do I do? Do I do competitive coding, or do I start development? Do I dive into machine learning? So how did you figure that out?
Okay, so first of all, I want to talk about how I got into computer science itself. So when I was in 11th grade, we had to choose our fifth subject: computer science, economics, and physical education. So I chose
Mhm.
computer science because both of the others just seemed kind of boring to me. So when I
Yeah.
first even made a Fibonacci code, like something that easy, and when I saw that writing a code can do something like that, it made me wonder how many things it can do. And whatever we see and use in the computer and all the technology, it was very fascinating. So after I got into college, I explored a lot of things. I explored data science, machine learning, competitive coding. In fact, I got into competitive coding fairly later because there's a lot of this hype for ratings and all. So I was scared. I want to be
Yeah.
prepared before I start doing that. So it was mostly just exploring and finding your interest. Like I explored web development, Android development, and I didn't really find my interest there. So I switched fields to machine learning and then competitive coding. So that's how, like, you
Hmm.
need to explore things and look at things and like guidance and mentorship helps, but you need to have your own perspective on a field you would like to continue and work on ahead. So exploring mostly, and then
Yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
diving into something that interests you.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. In fact, that's something that I've been saying for months to like my community. You have to just keep exploring things because you never know what is like one field that you want to do. You just have to try different things and see what basically like rings a bell in your head. So yeah, that's amazing. And I wonder what like skills did you develop in your first year? What skills have you developed so far?
Okay, so as I mentioned, some Android development. So I learned Kotlin, and I made a few mini games using that for Android. And I did a few courses on machine learning and deep learning, and then made a few projects on that. And obviously, a lot of practice of data structures and algorithms. So,
Totally, yeah. Okay, and can you talk a bit about any projects you worked on? Any specific projects?
yeah, so in my second semester in first year, so I worked on this project along with two of my friends, image colorization, in which we used deep learning to color black and white images.
Hmm.
So that was
Okay.
a really good experience because uh, we weren't given much time to do it, and we just had to choose a topic and make a project on it. We were like, "This seems interesting. Let's do this,"
Uh-huh.
and we read a few research papers and watched a few videos, looked through some GitHub repos, and we just like went on with the flow doing the project. Like the best way to learn is learning by doing. So
Oh my
that
gosh,
was our
you
strategy.
yeah.
Like we learn deep learning by making the
Uh-huh.
project rather than the other way around. First learn deep learning and then wait till we are experts in it to make the project. That wouldn't really work out. So that was a really
Right.
great project that we did. Apart from that, like small projects on my own, not handwriting, alphabet recognition, and
Hmm.
some dice games, some quiz games on Android. That's it.
Yeah, that's so cool. So like your major project was the colorization, that
Yeah.
project, right? Yeah, that's super interesting. Um, okay, and I see that you've been a part of Women Tech Makers, and in fact, you just attended those like classes, like a few hours back before this interview, and you are a Talent Sprint WE scholar. So can you talk a bit about those programs or any other related work or internship you've done?
Yeah, so both of those are essentially the same thing. First, that program was called Talent Sprint V, Women
Okay.
Engineers Scholarship, and now it's called the Women Techmakers Engineering Fellows Scholarship. So it's a 2 lakh scholarship program by Google, and we had to go through a rigorous selection process for that as well. And 126 girls were selected, and we started this scholarship program in March 2020.
Hmm. Okay.
So there's a lot that we've learned from it. Like it's a 2 year program, so there's a lot they teach us. Mostly, we get to learn things that are much closer to application in industries, which our academic curriculum in colleges is usually not.
Hmm.
And the project that I was talking about was also given to us as an assignment for that program. So that
Oh,
has given
that
us a lot of exposure in the technical field. And I've found a really great community of 126 girls who's really
uh-huh.
supportive and passionate about technology. Yeah, so
Yeah, that is wonderful. That is wonderful. Community is always like a really important part of your journey, especially in the tech space. And it's amazing that you are in this community of women tech makers. It's absolutely amazing. Okay, now moving on to the main part of the video. How did you apply for the Google STEP internship?
Okay, so I already had some idea that Google has this kind of internship for second year girls, and I like kept looking through Google's site, official career site, and in December, no, in not in December, in November, they opened the applications, and in our WhatsApp groups, the community that I was talking about of women techmakers girls. So that was flooded with that link to apply to the internship, and we applied as fast as we could. We all had our resumes ready and like information filled and everything very quickly, and we applied in like 4 hours. Within 4 hours, we got the link to apply.
Mm-hmm.
So we heard like some heard a week later, some heard 4 days later, and most of our resumes were shortlisted. And then the next part was the interviews. So resume shortlisting was fairly easy if you have some good projects and some good courses. So that was fairly easy, the first step. After that, for the interviews, it was a rigorous preparation of DSA concepts and a lot of practice from sites like LeetCode and InterviewBit and all, and mock
Okay.
interviews.
Mhm.
So we really worked hard for that. And finally, the day of the interview, my interview was in 14th December initially. There are two interviews actually, 45 minutes each on the same day usually. So mine was on 14th December, and during my second interviews, the Google servers went down. So I was
Oh
kind
man.
of unlucky in that. But they obviously rescheduled my interviews. The recruiters were very helpful and supportive, and even though I had my semester exams, they were very flexible with their timings and everything, and making sure that the candidate has a positive experience. So my next interview was on 28th December, and I heard back from them after the interviews on uh, 20th January, I guess. So that was a long time waiting for the results.
Yeah.
And since the results were positive, I was really excited. I received a call from my recruiter saying that uh, you've been selected and the hiring committee has given positive feedback for you, and we'll be sending you the offer letter and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
since then, I've been on the top of the world.
Yeah, no, that's really cool and amazing. Doing this internship and working closely with Google. It obviously opens a lot of doors for you in the future. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. And so you talked about the interview like process and the hiring process. Can you touch a bit on? So you said that they asked DS and Algo, right, in the interviews. So a lot of times students have this question कि like कितना करना है DS Algo, उसमें भी like क्या क्या करें, मतलब कितना enough है. So how much is enough?
Uh, when it comes to studying, I think nothing is enough really. Like there
I
could be
agree.
one thing that you did not study, and they could ask that. You never know. So what my strategy was to like be clear with the basics, like have all the basics on the fingertips, sorting and searching, arrays, strings, linked
Mhm.
lists, heaps, and all of these basic concepts of data structures on the fingertips. Like if I see a question which uses one of these data structures, that I can apply them straight away. I don't have to think much.
Right.
Uh, so focus on the basics rather than going on to the hard problems and just spending a lot of time thinking about them and then ending up looking at the solution. That won't be
Mhm.
much use, I think. And what I did was I solved a lot of easy questions first. So that gave me a lot of confidence that I'm getting the hang of this and I can move forward with this. And then I started with the medium questions. So that was it for my preparation. Plus, I had a really good mentor She helped me a lot with my preparation. She taught me some concepts because there wasn't much time. We had like 1 month to prepare for it all. So yeah, like that would be my advice. Like, don't go for the really hard concepts or algorithms or questions. Just go for the basics first, clear them out, have them on your tips, and then move on.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, that's great advice. A lot of times students just they kind of lose their basics or they don't really strengthen the basics. They just move on to the tough problems and then they get stuck over there. So yeah, that's a great advice. And next, what according to you does Google look for in a prospective STEP intern? Because like obviously since STEP interns are first and second year students, they don't actually have much industrial experience, right? So they haven't done a lot of internships or stuff like that. So what do you think Google looks for when hiring an intern?
Yeah, I really can't say this for sure what they look for because I thought my interview was not that good, but I got selected. So there's a lot of uncertainty when it comes to being selected. But what I personally feel is that, like you said, first and second year students do not have much industrial experience and all. Um so they, I think what they majorly look for is how much this student can learn,
Right.
like how much how interested they are in solving problems, how hard they're trying to solve a problem, and like what is the learning potential and the interest that they can see in that interview. What I think is that someone who just keeps solving questions and is not maybe communicating with the interviewer, or just looking for the optimal solution and not thinking about various approaches that a question can follow, uh, that might come off as like how should I put it, that might come off as just looking to get selected for the internship rather than
Mhm.
solving the problem. So I think that's what they're looking for. The student should be interested in solving that problem that's given to them.
Yeah, totally. And if a student is interested and if they know how to communicate well, and talking about communication, I always say that communication is like equally important, as compared to your technical skills. Because if you're really good
Yeah.
at coding, it doesn't matter at all if you cannot communicate that to the recruiter, during the interview. So yeah, I totally agree with that. And I think that's about that. And what do you think was like the strong factor in your application, like specific to you? What do you think was the strongest point?
uh, what I think I did well was that I was looking at a lot of approaches. That I'm given a question, I'm not just thinking of something, some solution that might be able to solve the question in linear time or square time. I'm
Mhm.
first starting with a basic brute force solution and getting like understanding the specifications of the problem, and then moving on slowly, uh,
Right.
exactly what I said, looking through a lot of approaches and then deciding what's the best uh, for a certain case. And again, I think I did communicate well, and even if
Mhm.
I was stuck somewhere, I was communicating with the interviewer, giving them my suggestions, taking feedback from them. And yeah, I think that's about it. I was trying really hard to solve the problem. I think that's what I did, and that is why I think this could be the factor that they select people. Uh, that I was really interested in solving the problem, like
Yeah,
not just getting
got it.
selected into the internship. I want to do this problem because it's interesting.
Right. And you were communicating well, so they could see your thought process, obviously, and they could see the potential that you had. Yeah, that's amazing. And one of the questions that I get a lot is this Google STEP internship only for girls in
In
India?
India, yes, it is only
Yes.
for girls. Only
Okay.
girls can
Yeah.
apply to STEP internship in India.
Because we've seen a lot of like, boys as well getting selected for this internship, but out of India, not in India. So
Yes.
yeah. Okay, I hope that clears up boys watching this video. I'm sorry. I hope you can find some other
There are a
programs.
lot of opportunities for everyone.
Yeah, totally.
So
There's a lot of opportunities. Just find the right ones and apply on time and just stay active in the community. All right. So I guess that's pretty much it. Now, finally, any last tips or advice for the first and second year students that are watching right now?
okay, for the first year students, just keep exploring. Look through all the options you have so that you can find one thing that you like. It's not necessary to do competitive coding because everyone's doing it, or do machine learning because everyone's doing it. Find your interest and move on from there. For the second year students or someone who is looking to do well in interviews and get internships, first of all, be confident and don't doubt yourself. I do this a lot, and
Mhm.
sometimes it does backfire, like lack of confidence. So avoid that and focus on the basics rather than uh, just trying getting stuck on the hard problems and ending up frustrated. Focus on the basics and clear out the easy things first, because if you can't do the easy things, then you should not expect yourself to do the medium or hard things. If you can do everything that's easy, then your process from easy to intermediate to advanced would be really smooth, and you'll understand things much better. So
Right.
I guess that would be it.
Yeah, no, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much
Mm.
for that. And thank you for joining us here and sharing your story. It means a lot to me, to the people that are watching, and I bet it will help a lot of students.
Yeah, I hope
Um,
so too.
yeah, great. So all the links to connect with me or Sejal are in the description. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.